Had a good weekend. Um, Today was a pretty good day if you were a trader slash scalper. I had a busy day, so I was actually only took one trade today, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. It was really toward the end of the day is when I got a chance to actually focus on the market. But let's go through our normal progression. Let's see. I didn't even see what range we had today. We had 43.82 to roughly 44.3, so about a 20-point range. So right in our wheelhouse, what we look for a DR, 16 to 20 plus, and just point out what happened today, and then just look at some things here. And these are not hard fast rules, but they'll if you start seeing these on a regular basis, you'll kind of start to understand what the market's going to do from a price action standpoint. So remember, our blue line here is midnight open, right? Our red line is our IDR high. Up here is our DR high, right? So that's what we're trying to get to. And from 9:30 to 10:30, as DR is setting up, what I want you to notice is look how many times we tested this midnight open, all right? And remember, we talked about midnight open. It's going to be one of two things. Most of the time, it's going to be a strong support, or it's going to be a strong resistance. So if you're looking at this, what you can see, even though DR hasn't formed yet, is I'm expecting a very strong resistance. So this is acting as a very strong resistance. And so what I'm expecting, I'm not a big bias person. I just kind of do what the market shows me. But from a bias standpoint, I'm saying we're going to go down today. All right, price is going to move down because again we've tested this so many times to get above it, and we spiked above it, we wicked above it, but we always came back down. And so my expectation would be that we would actually come all the way back down, to the low side. And so that's kind of what happened. But other thing I want you to notice, in this big green box here, this is a daily fair value gap, bullish one. And up top, you can't see it, but way above, probably about 30 points up, there's a bearish daily fair value gap. And so when I do my Sunday prep, I kind of look for, I start with, kind of what's all happening monthly, then I go down to a weekly, and then I look at daily to kind of see where where the big moves could potentially be, because the higher time frames kind of give you more confidence and confluence in kind of what's happening. So my expectation is that okay, we have this daily fair value gap here. Matter of fact, our DR low line is literally on the top of that daily fair value gap, right? So that's kind of how that's set up. Now, as this is coming down, the first thing we saw was that we're coming down. We went down below the DR low, but into this bullish fair value gap. So automatically, I know that price is going to spike back up, and that's exactly what happened. Now, if I was being risky, or if I was able, at this point I wasn't able to trade, but what my trade would have been, and I think I called this in one of my groups, is that I'm expecting price to move back up. So I could actually put a trade here, a trade for it to go up, right on DR low if I wanted to, or IDR low, and that's at least again, 5 to 10 points. Normally, when price hits a higher time frame fair value gap like that, and it starts to reverse, it's going to reverse 5 to 10 points. So in theory, this was 43,285, and it would have went up to 92. So that's 10 points here. And look where it went up into. Went up into in this case, a 5-minute a bearish fair value gap, right? And so it reverses off of that fair value gap. Okay, so you can, as you start to look at price and start understanding, you can kind of see how these things kind of correlate. Now, remember, this, fair value gaps, that's ICT concepts, but nothing wrong with using those as confluence for what you're doing for DR, because at this point, DR hasn't even played out yet. Okay, it spiked down, but it didn't close below. So I'm not confirmed on anything with DR, but if I look here, I'm going, wow, okay, I can see this price move up. Price gets up, into that fair value gap, that bearish one, and it's going to reverse again. That's normally what should happen. And so you can see again, it comes back down, test that DR low again, doesn't take it. Now at this point, we had built another bearish fair value gap here, so I wouldn't expect price to move up as much. But we had one over here, but that one got invalidated when we crossed above it. Here we didn't do that yet, so if you look and see what happened after that, price kind of came back up and tested a little bit, but it moved right back down. into this bullish fair value gap. At this point, we have confirmed finally, right? We have confirmed low, and then waiting for the retrace. And you see where the retrace goes. It goes right back up above, and actually continues above back into that bearish fair value gap. Okay, and so now remember what our point is, right? So we're expecting price to go low. So in this case, this actually would have been a trade for me here, right? So price would come down and retest that DR. So I had price on IDR low, so 43.83. Price only got down to 43.80 here. It went back up to 43.89. Okay, so in this case, if I was using that and I hadn't moved my stop, I definitely would have got stopped out on this one, expecting price to reject off of this fair value gap again. So like what I would have done, and this is just me, I would have said, okay, I'm expecting price to come down, so my order would be here 43.83, and my stop would have been in the middle. I think called the consequent encroachment, or whatever the middle of this fair value gap is, because this is bearish. So I'm expecting price to come back down. So that's 43.87. So I'm, it's 4 points that I'm risking here, instead of my normal 5. But either way, I've gotten stopped out, so that's all right. All right. So, but again, that's part of the game, right? So we see price come back up again. Doesn't get back up to this 0.5 fibs, which would have been my next rung on the ladder I was looking for. But then it comes down, and again, my order now would have placed same spot, 43.83. And now, in this case, I would have actually won this trade because the price comes all the way down. Actually, doesn't go 10 points, but there's 5 points plus in here. So I definitely would have gotten 5 points off of this trade because I would have moved my stop down to 5 once I got in my take profit would have been at 10. Which I would have not gotten, but I would have definitely gotten 5 off here. All right, so same thing. So what we're doing now is rinsing and repeating, right? We're following the rules. So price goes back up, goes back above this IDR low. My order's on IDR low for it to come back down. Once it comes back down, so 83, and I can take that down to 73. So that's 10 points right here. Okay, see how this works? All right, price comes back up. Nothing for me to do here. I'm waiting now for it to retest that IDR low again. There it is. Retest it. So orders now back on IDR low. A little bit of like a 0.25 amount of heat right here. 83. I'm watching price come down and comes right back down. Comes down to 74, 73. So that's probably another 5 pointer here. Didn't get all the way down to 10 points. I probably would have gotten stopped out at 5. Watching it test again. Now this is where I actually, around 3 o'clock when I finally got to my meetings that I had, and I was able to take a trade. So this was actually the only official trade I took today. But again, you see how price goes back up here. Now, so my order is always going to be on this IDR low because that's what I'm expecting. So that's 43.83, 43.85. So there's about 2-3 points of stop that I'm here. So if I have my 5 point stop, none of this is bothering me. So what I actually end up getting in, I put an order in here because I got off around 5. I got out of my meetings around 5 and saw this come here. So I'm waiting for price to come back down and pick me up. This one, it almost picked me up, but it didn't. Went back up. This one finally picked me up. So I'm in at 43.83, and then price goes up a couple points, no big deal. I'm fine with that. And then we drop down. So 83, and this was a 10 pointer on this candle because it came down to 73. Again, didn't want to be greedy. That's my only trade of the day, and it was already 3:45, so I didn't want to do too much waiting, and instead of waiting for it to reverse on me. So took my 10 points here, and then it went down another, I don't know, probably 5 points or so. But again, that's right at 355, which I'm not. It's okay to do that, but it's just not something I need to do when I've already gotten my 10 points here. Okay, so a lot of opportunities today. Again, just kind of reading price action. I was, a little upset that I just did not have time today to take some of these trades that we just talked about because I would have racked up on some of these because, again, the whole thing for me is follow the rules, stick to the process. And, in this case, it was a easy process to stick to. And I had the additional just kind of confidence in what was going to happen today because of this action here that happened while DR was setting up. So again, not something you can count on all the time, but when you see this, and I'm going, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times it's tested that that midnight and come back down. And I know what midnight does to price it. And again, it's strong resistance, strong support, right? In this case, strong resistance, and it just keeps batting it down, right? Keeps punching in the face, and it just drops. And so once I get down here to the low, now I know I'm going to be in low pretty much all day, right? And so, one stop out because of how price moved, but the rest of it was 5-10 points, pretty easy throughout the day. It doesn't look like it's pretty, right? It's not a consistent just up or down, but but the way that, at least the way I run my DR strategy with the rungs on the ladder, it makes it easy. You just have to trust it. Okay, you're not going to win all the time, but that's part of the deal. If somebody tells you they're a trader and they win all the time, then they're lying to you, straight up. All right, but anyway, that's it. Hope everybody again had a wonderful day and a good weekend. A little bit of a tough one for us in the trading community, but glad we're able to be there for one of our own, in her and her family's time of sorrow and need. And again, I'll keep saying it. Just love on your family while you got them, because you never know when you won't have them anymore. So God bless, and we'll talk to you soon.